Lionel Messi has conquered his final peak. Lionel Messi has shaken hands with paradise. The little boy from Rosario Santa Fe has just pitched up in heaven.
That was Peter Drury, whose commentary became the voice for millions watching the global coverage of the 2022 World Cup final. In that historic moment, Messi's triumph found its perfect match in Drury's poetic voice, and Messi's greatest moment might have just coincided with Peter Drury's. From TikTok videos to Instagram Reels to YouTube Shorts, social media was flooded with clips of Drury commentating on Argentina's World Cup victory. His words have become almost synonymous with the events that unfolded that night in Doha. And it's not just the World Cup. Today, Peter Drury's commentary accompanies an entire generation of football fans. But in this hyper-polarized world of social media, where tribalism often dominates, how did Peter Drury transcend the boundaries and become such a phenomenon? Most commentators have extensive knowledge of the game and can provide insightful analysis. But what sets Peter Drury apart is his unique approach in combining wordsmithery with poetry. Take a look at how Drury set the scene for Ronaldo's return to Old Trafford in 2021.
Wreathed in red, restored to this great gallery of the game, a walking work of art. Vintage, beyond valuation, beyond forgery or imitation. 18 years since that trembling teenager of touch and tease first tiptoed onto this storied stage. Now in his immaculate maturity, CR7 reunited.
Without Drury's words, it's a great headline. With Drury, it becomes an immortal story. His poetic brilliance was on display for Kostas Manolis' Champions League goal against Barcelona in 2018. Instant goosebumps. It was a goal against the unlikeliest of odds and done justice with references to Mount Olympus and the 7 hills of Rome. Even if you weren't a Roma fan, the gravity of that moment would still be appealing. Drury doesn't utter words. He tells stories by painting vivid pictures of the game, the players, and the atmosphere, turning the match into an immersive experience and takes the viewers on a journey with him.
My favourite football match that I ever commentated on and goal is Shabalala for South Africa.
It's Shabalala! Goal! Bafana!
That was a moment that transcended sport.
The brief words, goal for South Africa, goal for all Africa, resonated deeply with the country and the continent as they hosted the World Cup for the very first time. At that moment, he could empathise with every South African. Drury's exceptional talent as a global commentator, his ability to bridge cultural gaps, and his profound understanding of the countries he covers make him a rare gem in his field. More recently at the 2022 World Cup, while covering Morocco's historic victory over Belgium, Drury delivered a performance on the microphone that surpassed the expectations of most Moroccans. Just take a look at these lines. Drink it in, Casablanca. Relish it, Rabat. This is your night. See it from atop the Atlas Mountains, all above the Marrakesh Express. A night Morocco will never forget. It's a testament to his knowledge of the country and his meticulous preparation. When Morocco beat Portugal later in the tournament, Drury said, "The Arab world unites, the African continent believes." A probable nod to the social media discourse over the Arab versus African Moroccan identity doing the rounds in light of Morocco's World Cup run. Again, showcasing his knowledge of cultures beyond the surface. Drury's exceptional ability to produce memorable quotes, coupled with the influence of social media, has amplified his voice. It's as if he has arrived at the perfect moment in time. In this era of hyperbole and extremes, his commentary connects with the audience, making even the grandest moments seem larger and giving life to otherwise overly mundane events. Drury often commentates on high-profile football matches, including some big Champions League nights, several years of covering big Premier League matches on the global feed, and covering the World Cup, including the final on 3 occasions. And therefore he has been heard by millions during some of the most magical football moments, leading to his widespread recognition and popularity. His relatively neutral and unbiased stance in the commentary and equal level of enthusiasm for all teams allow fans from different teams and nations to enjoy his commentary without feeling alienated or excluded. With short-form content on the rise worldwide, snippets of Drury's commentary from key footballing moments, when paired with a wild algorithm, really seems like the perfect recipe for virality and only amplifies his voice further. And that begs the question, why has social media not embraced other commentators in the same manner? Martin Tyler's stock seemed to have been in decline before his retirement. The overwhelmingly positive reception of Drury joining Sky Sports to replace him further indicates that, despite Tyler being the voice of football for a generation, allegations of biasness often came up on social media, along with criticisms for not being interested enough. Over on BT Sports, or the now renamed TNT Sports, a quick look on Twitter during any match would tell you everything about the constant disappointment of fans with their commentary. Ray Hudson, another man known for his hyperbole, has mostly been focused on the American audience, and so has been Derek Ray, the voice of the last few years of the FIFA video game before it was renamed. Clive Tyldesley, another household name who has produced many remarkable pieces of commentary, was predominantly ITV based. John Champion, famous for his commentary on the Premier League global feed and World Cup matches, as well as lending his voice on the formerly named Pro Evolution Soccer video game, has a positive reputation with fans, but has not hit the global heights of Drury. Andy Gray has moved to Qatar, and people still remember his comments about a female assistant referee in 2011. However, there was a time not long ago when Martin Tyler's on-air partnership with Andy Gray was a massive hit with the fans. The legend John Helm, who has commentated on so many World Cups, is not regular enough for this generation, and many might not have heard his epic voice previously. The likes of Andy Townsend and Jim Beglin are co-commentators that do not have the lead role that Drury does. The Irish Conor McNamara has recently taken over from Drury as the main man for the Premier League's global feed, and only time will tell whether his deep voice and different style from his predecessor can become a similar hit with the fans. All of this ultimately leaves Peter Drury to be one of the most sought-after commentators by both industry and the fans. In conclusion, not everyone loves Peter, though in an interview he once said, "I love words. Some would say I use too many of them, and people sometimes compliment me for my usage of words. But equally, I feel it's a fair criticism of my work that I can be overly wordy." This describes the biggest criticism directed at him. For some, he is selfish, making the moments all about himself. For some, he shows off his vocabulary or unnecessarily bigs up moments that do not deserve the hype. They say it's as much about the words you don't say as the words you do. Football broadcasting has evolved. There's more talk than there used to be. Gone are the days of the pauses of the yesteryears. The pacing of the commentary has to keep up with the tempo of the games. And former legendary BBC commentator Barry Davies once said, "Each generation gets the commentator it deserves." And perhaps Peter Drury is the voice of football for this generation.